as we all are. I see that now we are recording. I see the recording button. So I may not actually be recording. That is cool. So we can start over, take it from the top. So Valerie and I are super excited and grateful to be here with all of you. Happy Sunday. And this came about because Val and I were on the phone yesterday. I was outside getting those steps in and getting some fresh air, stretching my legs, getting out of the house. And I know getting out of the house in any capacity just has so much more meaning than ever before because many of us are under quarantine. So Valerie and I yesterday were just sharing about how we had been handling this new dynamic that we find ourselves in. Different mindset things, different activities, different ways of interpreting the situation that were really helping us to get through this. And I was like, Valerie, I feel like a lot of people could benefit from this conversation. So that's when we had the idea of doing a Facebook Live or doing a video to share, our top 10 tips for surviving quarantine survival 101. And there very well may be additional segments depending on how long this phenomenon goes. So that takes us to point number one, conscious conversation and connection, creating community, but keeping it positive, keeping it constructive, because having a pity party or fear mongering, that is not going to help you survive. But by having empowered, positive, uplifting conversation, that definitely helps. So one thing I know Valerie and I and my boyfriend and I, and that anybody that knows me, at some point I've pulled this card on you, that what are you grateful for today? That's one way to keep the conversation really positive, really awesome, and moving in a good way. Where it's totally okay to be frustrated, sad, mad, whatever, but live in the solution. And that's kind of what Val and I are doing right now, living in the solution.
Yes. I love it. I'm figuring out technology as we speak. I know it's recording, but I don't know if we're live, but we can just record this and put the recorded version out there.
Works for me. And I'm also grateful for technology because without the gift of technology, none of this would be possible. And getting creative in your communications. Like I did a workout with some of my girlfriends Friday night on Zoom. I had never done that before, but it was great in a different way to create community, still have that connection while practicing social distancing. So that is one beautiful thing where we have technology, we have smartphones, we have computers, we have iPads, we have FaceTime, we have Zoom, we have all of these methods and means of staying connected despite the distance that's necessary right now. So that's one really neat thing as well.
Yeah, can you imagine being back in the days when what was the most recent one back in the early 1900s where you'd be stuck in your log cabin? I guess I would be hanging out with the chickens probably. We wouldn't be having this conversation, that's for sure.
Right. We would be writing letters, maybe having a radio broadcast or something, but yeah, this is far better.
Far better. Cool. I love that you said that. Being in the solution. I remember it was an affirmation I used to say when I drive around is I'm always looking for solutions. I'm proactive instead of reactive. Where 80% of our population is actually in a reactive state. So they're reacting to the surroundings around them rather than creating a solution. So I try to be in that 20%.
Absolutely. And what is one of your tips for being there? Can you take us to tip 2?
Yeah, so one of the major ones that I'm finding in real time and have really just channeled in, I've been putting off a lot of things just so that I can get my sleep, because if I don't have that sleep, I feel like garbage. I feel like a trash can. I could take up a lot more work. I could have kids right now if I wanted to, but I'm choosing not to at this time in my life because I know how critical it is for me to get like parent myself right now. And I'm parenting myself in the way that I'm getting enough sleep every night. So last night I took a really nice bath before bed with German chamomile essential oil, lavender essential oil, a whole entire box of baking soda, like a handful of chocolate cocoa powder without sugar. Everybody's like, ew, that's gross and sticky, but it's just like the powdery substance. So it's fine. It's like liquid. It feels really amazing. And what else was in that thing? Oh, Epsom salt, Himalayan sea salt is actually what I used. And yeah, it's just such a good way to calm down my body and relax. And I woke up this morning feeling refreshed, not hungover. I felt amazing. The sky was blue as all get out, and I felt amazing. So sleep, good. Yeah, that's like the number one thing for me right now is sleep. Absolutely. And yeah, there's different strategies I use too. Like say I accidentally stay up all night and watch quarantine conspiracy videos or TikTok videos. On occasion, if that does happen where I'm like way off, like I try to get to bed by about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And if I'm not, and I stay up till 1 and then I only have like 5 hours, instead of napping during the day, I do my best to stay awake for a whole 24 hours before I sleep again, so that it's like when I do sleep the next night, I'm in that deep, deep REM sleep. So I'm getting like it's like a reset. It's just like how we do the fasting, only it's like a reset. And I found that's really helpful. That first like 30 hours without that much sleep is pretty rough, but then it like kind of resets my whole biological clock. And
that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. And I think I've seen that recipe for your fantastic like goddess bath. I think I've seen that on your Facebook. So if you are interested in Valerie's bath time concoctions for relaxation and being awesome, definitely check out her page. So another way that I know you and I are both dealing with this quarantine is by either getting back to old hobbies or learning something new. So for me, I am diving into real estate investing education, taking this time to learn something new that's absolutely going to benefit me. And, like it could be for you, it could be anything. Like there's so much available to us on YouTube. You can learn literally almost anything on the internet. So if there's like something that you've been curious about, look it up, get a book, take a course. We have so much time for that. And Valerie, what is your new old thing that has you really excited? You were telling me about.
Oh, good. Yeah, sorry. I keep dodging down. My laptop is there. Technology is such a cool thing. So I finally, since this is a long story, but it's not even long, but it's a cool story. Back in 2010, I went to college to pursue a degree in poultry science. So that meant I had to leave all my flock, my chickens, my guineas, my peacock, turkey, all my chickens and poultry, fowl, birds, and all that to go pursue my college degree. And then I went and got a job after I graduated college in the poultry field, where of course you can't have your own flock at home, like biosecurity reasons. So now that I'm self-employed and not working at that farm anymore, I just bought my own flock yesterday. I got some Americana chicks. They're like 3 days old. Mr. Pinkleton, and I have to name the other 3 yet.
That is fantastic, and I think you should totally do like an intro video with them outside later, because I know it would make me really happy to see them because they're so cute. And
yeah, for sure. Like I was so happy yesterday. Like there was like the last thing I was thinking about was, germs and bacteria or viruses or whatever. Right. I was just like, my life is complete now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So what is tip 4? What do you have up next for us?
Okay, so my next tip is start as like, I start my way I start my day. I'm so excited about this. I can't even say my words in the right order right now. I start my day in gratitude, and I also write down affirmations and goals. So that sounds really woo-woo. And if I would have heard myself saying this like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd have been like, Val, you're a loser and a dork. But I love this ritual. So in the morning, I write down 5 things I'm grateful for. So just something from the past 24 hours. Sometimes it's like for example, yesterday I was driving down the road and I met somebody on the highway, and all of a sudden they had their arm out the window waving at me, and I had no idea who it was. Like, I did not recognize that vehicle. But this morning in my gratitude, I wrote down like that person waving at me was like a really profound moment in my day. Like, just, it made me happy. And just the fact that I'm like actively writing gratitude every single morning, I'm on the hunt like right now, like every moment of my day, I'm like reverse engineering, looking for gratitude in my day. So when you're looking for gratitude, you totally find it. And it's not just the idea of like writing gratitude, it's like living a life of gratitude. So it's changed my life. I've only been doing this practice for consistently for like 6 months. So in that short amount of time, every day, intentionally finding gratitude is a super crazy, awesome way, simple to change your mindset around without having to like go to all these seminars and spend a bunch of money. And
right, absolutely. I love that. I've been like a gratitude practicer in different capacities for a long time, but I know like as a daily discipline, it really, really helps. And something that like I like to do too with it is like, I'm grateful for, and then say why. Like, I'm grateful for doing this live because it gives me an opportunity to connect with you and share with others. So that's like one way to like up the ante and like get even more into your gratitude. But I love it. It's a muscle like anything else. And it just kind of segues into the next one that I had, which is starving the fear and feeding the faith. Because if you're grateful, you know, like you're just living in a place of positivity, and you can't be fearful and faithful or fearful and grateful at the same time. It's like impossible for them to coexist at the same time. You know, we both know with what you focus on expands, and because of our reticular activating system in our brain, we find more of, you know, that which our like baseline set for, you know, our confirmation bias. Like if we believe the world is a fearful place, we're going to see it everywhere because our reticular activating system filters out anything that says anything else. But if you start to feed the faith and know and trust and surrender, like, I know we're going to be okay on the other side of this. I don't know what it looks like. That's not my job. But I know and trust that everything has happened for us. And again, getting grateful, getting faithful, staying in that place, that's how you starve the fear. And it's just like math, like 1 + 1 = 2. You want a different outcome, put different inputs in. If watching the news makes you fearful, turn that crap off. Turn it off. Turn off the fear porn. The world will not end if you don't watch the news for a couple days.
What was the name you called it? I loved it. It was like, you had a different name. Instead of media, it was like
lamestream news.
Oh, lamestream. Oh,
yeah, turn it off. If it's not inspiring, empowering, uplifting, encouraging, constructive, turn it off. You don't have to engage in fearful conversations. Set some boundaries.
I know, like my thought process wouldn't be this way, but I know people like, I don't want to throw Colt under the bus or like anybody else, but like some people are probably thinking like, but I have to know what's going on. I mean, you can find out what's going on. Like there's other different sites that you can find out what's going on that doesn't have a hidden agenda. Like,
right.
The media is always going to put out stuff that they want you to come back. They want to feed you. They just want to give you enough so you come back tomorrow and get fed by their stories. I would go to somewhere that's like a trusted resource that if you do think you need to be informed. I mean, literally what the media has told us to do to prevent the virus is the same thing they've told us for the past month and a half. Wash your hands, stay home. Like, that's the same message that's out there now. So I really like and enjoy just feeding my knowledge with books rather than
exactly
somebody else telling me how scared I need to be.
Exactly. And like when you're fearful, it's actually detrimental to your immune system. It makes like your logical brain turn off, so you're easier to persuade and manipulate. Like there's nothing good that comes from being fearful. Nothing. Like you're not a happier, healthier, better, constructive human. So there's no reason to feed the fear. And so feed the faith, feed those good things, and be conscious of what you're consuming and what you're allowing in your energy.
Absolutely. That leads me to my next point is like, how do we, like, what if like I feel stuck? Like, what if I'm like at home and I just feel like so sick to my stomach right now? I feel like crying. What can I actually do? Something that I do every single day to help my brain recalibrate, which brings me to what point are we on? Like 5, 6? 6. Okay. Point 6 is tip 6 is moving the body. So if I go for a run, if I do yoga class, I teach yoga classes and do yoga. So after I move my body, I feel so amazing. Like there is nothing, like I just feel like so good. Like I just feel like all that fear, cortisol in my blood, that stress is just gone. I mean, at first it seems like, oh man, I got to get up and do that. But I just try not to feed the excuses and just remember how good I'm going to feel at the end of this yoga class or at the end of this 1 mile run, even going outside to walk, like moving my body, even getting up, doing some Zumba, broadcasting YouTube with dance, easy beginner level dance. All that stuff is gonna change your mind. The issues are in the tissues. And I'm actually doing a yoga class later today at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then that would be 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. I don't know about European times, but yeah.
Hey.
It's free. Just let me know if you want to join. It'd be a good way to move your body. And like I said, release some tension and stress.
Absolutely. And this kind of segues into my next one, number 7, controlling or choosing my narrative. And what I mean by that is like the story. Because if you're always watching the news, you're accepting their narrative, their story, their interpretation of a series of events, where you get to decide what this time means for you. I get to decide, you get to decide, and I'm choosing a happier, more positive, productive narrative. I'm telling myself a better story about this, where instead of being frustrated and angry that I can't do what I want to do, and being frustrated about all of the fear mongering, I'm choosing to look at this time as like being in a cocoon and focusing on how I want to come out of the other side of all of this. And I know like sometimes when I'm frustrated or feeling some type of way, that's just the butterfly immune system, like where I desire and deserve to go, being at war with the caterpillar, because like that's what happens when like a butterfly caterpillar is the gelatinous goo. The immune systems are at war, so the caterpillar thinks it's dying while the butterfly is fighting to exist, and it's a process. So that's what I'm looking at this time as, and choosing my story, where I'm like, wow, this is like a really interesting time. I'm not labeling it as like horrible, the economy's terrible, I'm scared. I'm not saying any of that crap. That is not my story. I'm not choosing that story. Therefore, it's not my reality. So that's part of it, where we get to control. We choose based off of the story that we're telling ourselves about this. So that's why, everything we're talking about is part of how I choose to create and live that story that serves me.
Yep. Oh my gosh, literally. I love that we're the goo, like we're in the goo, we're in the gelatinous goo right now, and we're going to turn into that monarch butterfly or Luna moth or whatever critter you think is the most beautiful.
Love it.
That's like my next point too, is number 8 was choosing joy, choosing happiness, choosing to have fun. I mean, some people would contradict that and say, well, how can you be so happy when all these people are dying? Well, it's literally not my job. And I know that in the depth of my bones, it's not my job to worry about other people. It's my job to worry about my own energy. I come first. Like, my happiness is going to have to come before somebody else. And I know that might sound selfish and some people might not agree with me or see that, but that's my belief. And I think when I figured that out, my life changed so much. Like, that happiness with inside, I mean, I'm able to help more people now. I'm able to like be myself because I know that to be true, that I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing to have fun, like find the jokes, find the fun memes, find the funny TikTok videos, and negativity just be over there. I'm finding the love over here.
I love it. I love it. That kind of ties into my next one. Find the humor. Find the humor. Like, we all have to agree that, you know, we'll look back at some things that it's like completely crazy right now. Things that we never thought would happen, like, have and are happening. But just like find the joy, find the humor in things. And whether it's like my boyfriend and I, like, we like make fun of each other in like a kind and loving way, but like, you know, to understand how ridiculous like I sound sometimes, like, it's good to have that perspective, and it's good to be able to laugh about, you know, there's humor, there's joy in absolutely everything. And, you know, like, there's always another perspective. And I to kind of build off of some of the things that you were saying, like, you know, being concerned about people dying from this, we're all gonna die anyway. We're all gonna die.
We already had that
every one of us, like,
before we were born.
It's gonna happen sooner or later for everybody. So I'm not concerned about dying.
Right.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I was touching my face at the Aldi's today, and there was some lady next to me just like with her gloves on, and I'm just like exaggerating because I'm like, I love my face.
Right?
She was just like mortified. I was just laughing. Me and my husband had a good laugh about that.
Yeah, it's just, it is interesting to see how people cope and handle things. But find the humor, turn off the scary stuff, whether it's the news, shows, whatever, because humor, laughter is actually really good for your immune system. You're going to boost your immunity, work on those abs, laugh more. Laugh more. What do you got for us for number 9?
I love it. Yeah, build some abs by laughing. That's true. I've been laughing actually more this week than I ever have because I've been, like you said, implementing laughter. So my last point is to help others. One of my friends in my yoga class mentioned this too, that he's just going out of his way to help his neighbors and help anywhere he can extra, just community service, volunteer, just look for places to serve people. And I think helping others is pretty phenomenal. And I actually do notice that a lot to other people, you know, reaching out and offering to help neighbors, friends, community people in general. Like at the store, like people are offering to help, and it's cool to see that because one of my favorite things one of my other friends told me is that we can't have happiness unless we give it away. So
Absolutely. And that kind of segues right into my last point, number 10 here, focusing on what we can do instead of what we can't. And that has helped me, where at first I was frustrated because my gym is closed and there's all these crazy rules and I don't agree with a lot of it, but then like that's absolutely giving my power away. But when I focus on what I can do, I can work out at home. I can work out outside. I can get on Zooms and work out with my girlfriends. I can look up workouts on YouTube. I can work out with my boyfriend over Zoom. Like, there's a million things I can do. And again, you know, that's like one way to increase the positivity. It's one way to be grateful, being grateful for what we can do instead of being like, oh, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's like, you want to feel like crap, focus on what you can't do. You want to feel better, pour your energy into what you can do.
Right. And it like you say, like what can I do, or what am I willing to do? Am I willing to get up and walk a mile? Or it's not like I can walk, but am I willing to?
Right, exactly.
And am I willing to feel a little bit better? Am I willing to move my body to feel that good movement, you know, the sweat, releasing the cortisol?
Absolutely.
Like, who would say no?
Absolutely. Well, this has been super great, Val.
Yeah, I love it. I think doing these things, you know, it's just, this is the time for us to change, and this is the time for us to wake up and be the best that we can be. And I'm glad we're here having this conversation.
Absolutely.
And if you guys have something else that you're doing that's like really helping you during this time, comment below. I'd love to hear it. Like, I don't know everything. These are just the things that are helping me and Alicia. So yeah, comment below. And if there's anything else that you're wanting to, you know, see if you can gain some insight on, comment that below or reach out to us. We'd love to have conversations. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to yoga at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
So it's been fantastic. Namaste and namago. Until next time, friends.
Have a nice day. I'm going to shut this off somehow. I can figure it out.
Boom. Technology.